Some doors, once opened, can never be closed, and some secrets are better left buried. Long ago, in a time when the line between heaven and earth was thin, there lived a king whose wisdom was unmatched, whose power was unrivaled, and whose secrets were forbidden. Son of David, Solomon. But what if I told you that Solomon's greatest legacy wasn't his wealth, his temple, or even his wisdom? What if I told you it was a book? A book so dangerous, so powerful, that it was said to hold the keys to summoning spirits, commanding demons, and unlocking the mysteries of the universe itself. This is the story of the Key of Solomon. But such power could not remain in the open. The Key of Solomon was hidden, guarded, and passed down through secret channels. Some say it was buried beneath the ruins of his temple. Others claim it was carried to distant lands by mystics and occultists. For centuries, the book was lost to history until whispers of its existence began to surface in medieval Europe. In the dark corners of medieval Europe, the Key of Solomon resurfaced. Alchemists, magicians, and occultists sought its secrets, believing it held the key to ultimate power. But the book was no ordinary text. Its pages were filled with intricate symbols, celestial charts, and instructions for summoning spirits. To use it required not just knowledge, but courage. For the rituals were perilous, and the consequences of failure were dire. Imagine this: a dark room, lit only by the flicker of candles. A circle is drawn on the floor, inscribed with sacred names and symbols. The air grows cold. The summoner chants ancient words, calling forth a spirit from the void. But one misstep, one error in the ritual, and the summoner could lose control, unleashing a force they could not contain. This was the power and the danger of the Key of Solomon. The Testament of Solomon is different from the Key of Solomon. In an ancient Greek book called the Testament of Solomon, there is a story about how Solomon overcame demons and made them serve him. The Testament of Solomon is an ancient Greek text believed to have been written sometime between the 1st and 5th centuries CE. It falls under the category of pseudepigraphical works, which means it is attributed to a biblical figure, in this case Solomon, but not actually authored by him. The stories within the Testament of Solomon explore themes of good versus evil, divine intervention, and the use of supernatural powers for righteous purposes. While not part of the canonical Bible, the text has influenced various religious and mystical traditions. The idea of Solomon's control over demons and his use of a magical ring has also permeated popular culture and literature. Although the Testament of Solomon is not found in the canonical Bible, Solomon himself is a significant figure in biblical texts. His role in building the temple in Jerusalem and his authorship of several books in the Old Testament, such as Proverbs and the Song of Solomon. The concept of Solomon's wisdom and his interactions with the spiritual realm are briefly mentioned in the canonical Bible, but the Testament of Solomon expands on these themes in a more fantastical and detailed manner. The story is told from Solomon's perspective. When I was tasked with the monumental effort of constructing the temple in Jerusalem, my gaze often fell upon a young man. His craftsmanship was unparalleled, earning him not only my admiration, but also a generous increase in his wages and food allowance. Despite these rewards, he grew frail, his vitality seemingly ebbing away. Concerned, I summoned him to my chambers. At first, his lips were sealed, but my persistent inquiries eventually coaxed the truth out of him. "O king," he began hesitantly, "you may find this hard to believe, but each night, as I lay down to rest, a sinister presence visits me and steals my provisions, draining my strength. I am convinced it is an evil spirit." Determined to help, I delved into the ancient tomes and prayed fervently for divine guidance. Days turned into nights, until one day, an angel appeared before me, bearing a ring. Embedded in the ring was a stone inscribed with the mystical pentacle and the ineffable name of power. The angel imparted to me the wisdom of its use. The angel spoke, "With this ring you shall command the spirits of the air, the earth, and the underworld. But beware, Solomon, for power corrupts, and the forces you summon may turn against you." Solomon took the ring, feeling its weight and power. It was a key to a world beyond human understanding. "Take this ring, a gift from God. With it you shall bind all demons of the earth. By the power of the Most High, they will labor to build the holy temple. But remember, this power is not yours. It flows from the name engraved upon this seal." The following morning, I entrusted the ring to the young man. "Take this," I instructed, "and when the creature visits you tonight, cast the ring upon it and invoke the strength of the name, saying, 'King Solomon calls you.' Then hasten to me without fear." As darkness fell, the nefarious demon Ornias returned, intent on its nightly torment. The young man, resolute, followed my instructions. He hurled the ring at the demon and declared, "Come, for Solomon calls you." Then, without a moment's hesitation, he sprinted to the palace. In pursuit, the demon howled, "What have you done? Remove this ring, and I shall grant you the hidden treasures of the earth. Do not bring me before Solomon." Unmoved by the demon's desperate pleas, the young man reached the palace and cried out, "O king, I have brought the spirit as you commanded. It waits beyond the door, offering me earthly riches if I spare it from your presence." I ascended from my throne and stepped into the courtyard, where a creature of flames quivered and shrank before me. I stood over it and inquired, "What is your name?" It responded, "Ornias." Utilizing the power of the ring, I commanded Ornias to divulge how I could make him obedient to me. He revealed his dwelling. With that, I sealed him with the ring and assigned him the task of hewing stones for the temple's construction. After pondering my next move, I summoned Ornias and entrusted him with the ring, instructing him to bring Beelzebul, the prince of all demons, before me. Ornias approached Beelzebul, found him on his throne, and declared, "Solomon summons you." Beelzebul haughtily retorted, "Who is this Solomon you speak of?" Ornias cast the ring into Beelzebul's bosom and repeated, "Solomon summons you." Beelzebul roared and unleashed a great flame, but had no choice but to rise and follow Horus to stand before me. Upon seeing him, I expressed my gratitude to the Most High for granting me dominion over the demons. I addressed Beelzebul sternly, and he vowed to present all the demons before me, making them subject to my commands. I assigned him the task of sawing marble blocks for the temple. Witnessing their master's labor, the other demons were filled with terror. I then called forth several chief demons, one by one, interrogating them about their deeds and how they could be subdued. Once they had answered, I bound them and set them to work on building the temple. The demons took on various forms, each more unsettling than the last. One emerged as a mesmerizing woman with a donkey's hoof for a foot, another a headless man with a flame of fire blazing from his neck. Yet another appeared as a colossal dog. With resolve, I bound the headless man and the dog together, the dog's fiery breath providing light to the laborers during the long nights. Dragons also joined the ranks, one with 3 heads and another with the face of a man. A peculiar demon had a face that glimmered with a green light, serpentine hair, and a body enveloped in darkness. An imposing figure with shining eyes and a drawn sword claimed to be the spirit of an ancient giant who perished in the flood. Some demons were mere voices with no physical form to behold. Over these eerie beings I held sway, assigning them various tasks, carrying water, weaving ropes, melting gold and silver, and lifting immense stones. Their efforts sped the construction of the temple. Monarchs and princes from distant lands visited, bringing precious gifts, and my realm flourished. One day, as I sat on my throne with Ornias, the demon standing by me, an elderly workman approached. He prostrated himself and cried out for justice against his son, who he claimed had mistreated him, beaten him, and plucked out his hair. Moved by compassion, I summoned the son, who denied the accusations vehemently. "I am not so wicked as to strike my father. I have done no such evil." I dismissed him and called the father again, urging reconciliation. But the old man was resolute in seeking his son's death. Puzzled, I was on the verge of condemning the young man when I noticed Ornias laughing. Intrigued, I inquired, and he replied, "Forgive me, O king, but it was not at you that I laughed. This wretched old man schemes his son's death, yet his son will succumb to illness within 3 days." I asked Ornias if this were true, and he confirmed it. I instructed the old man and his son to seek reconciliation and return to me in 3 days, providing them with sustenance from my table. They departed obediently. 3 days later, the old man returned, mourning deeply, and reported that he had buried his son that very day. "How do you know the fates of men, Ornias? Speak, lest I cast you into the abyss where even shadows fear to dwell." Ornias answered, hissing, flames flickering in his hollow eyes, "We are fallen stars, king, cast down for our pride. We rise to the vault of heaven, clinging to its edges, listening. The angels decree men's deaths. Their words fall like embers. Mortals call them shooting stars, but they are the whispers of doom. The boy's fate was written in fire." A servant came ruining in, a plea from Adares, king of Arabia. "A venomous wind slays his people at dawn. Corpses rot where they stand. He offers tribute and war if you refuse." Solomon, smirking, gripping the ring. 7 days. Let the wind howl a little longer. Let Arabia learn patience and fear. 7 days later, Solomon stands atop Mount Zion, a goatskin flask in hand. The stench of death rides the eastern wind. Solomon said to a trembling servant, "Take this skin, its seams stitched with the names Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. When the wind screams, hold high the seal of Solomon. Command the demon Ephippus in the name of he who drowned Pharaoh's host in the Sea of Reeds." The servant obeys. In Arabia, the wind shrieks, a vortex of green mist. The servant thrusts the ring into the storm and said with a cracking voice, "By the tetragrammaton and the seal of the Most High, I bind you, Ephippus." The wind collapses into the skin. The servant seals it. Silence falls. Arabia rejoices. Adares sends gold, spices, and 1,000 white camels back in Jerusalem. Solomon stands before a massive pillar, its stone veined with crimson. Ephippus, now bound, strains to lift it. Ephippus, growling, muscles like coiled serpents. "This stone is nothing, king. In the Red Sea's depths lies a demon stronger than Beelzebul himself, Abazethebu. He choked Pharaoh's chariots in mud and laughed as Moses parted the waves. Free him and he'll raise your temple to scrape the stars." Solomon, cold, pressing the ring to Ephippus's brow, "Bring him, but betray me, and I will carve the holy name into your lungs." Ephippus vanished and returned with Abazethebu, a towering figure with scales like black iron and eyes like drowned suns. Together they hoist the pillar. Solomon smiles, then pales. Abazethebu, voice echoing from the deep, "You think yourself master, Solomon? I stood beside Janus and Jambres when they mocked your Moses. I am older than empires and patient." Solomon, raising the ring, fury and fear entwined. "By the name unspoken, I cast you both into the firmament. Bear this pillar forever, and let men name your prison the Milky Way." The demons shriek, dissolving into smoke. The pillar vanishes, stars tremble. A new constellation burns. Solomon, old and frail, sits in his crumbling palace. The once gleaming seal of Solomon ring lies dull on his finger. Shadows of demons whispering in the corners. I built a temple to God with pillars of cedar and gold. I bound demons with a ring forged by heaven's fire. Kings trembled at my name, and wisdom flowed from my lips like rivers. But now I sit alone, my throne cracked, my heart heavy. For all my power, I am but a man who could not conquer the greatest demon of all, himself. Flashback took him back in time. Solomon's wives kneel before idols of Chemosh and Molech. The ring glows faintly as demons smirk from the shadows. Solomon said, "I thought the ring made me invincible. With it, I chained Asmodeus to hew stones and forced Beelzebul to kneel. But pride blinded me. To please my foreign queens, I raised altars to their gods. I traded the name of the Most High for fleeting alliances, and with each sacrifice to Molech, the ring's light dimmed. The seal of Solomon cracks. Demons laugh as their chains shatter." One demon said to him in a hissing voice, "You are no king. You are a slave, Solomon, a slave to your desires." Solomon kneels down for a final prayer. The ring slips from his finger, rolling into darkness. I begged God for mercy, but my heart was divided. The demons I once commanded now stalked my dreams. My sons plotted treason. My kingdom, once united, fractured like dry clay. The ring, the symbol of God's favor, fell from my hand, lost to the dust, or perhaps taken by those very spirits I had enslaved. Even my servant Jeroboam turned against me. A prophet foretold he would tear my kingdom in two. I, who once judged the hearts of men, could not see the rebellion in my own house. Solomon lays on his deathbed, surrounded by murmuring advisors. Demons materialize, unseen by others. A demon whispers in a mocking voice, "Where is your wisdom now, king? Where is your ring?" Solomon whispered, "Vanity. All is vanity. I have seen everything under the sun, and now the sun sets on me." The ring is visible in a corner, buried in dust. They will bury me with my fathers in the tomb of the man I used to be, David's son, the builder of temples, the binder of demons. But history will forget this truth. I was only a man who could command legions of hell, yet could not command his own heart. For all his wisdom, Solomon fell to the oldest temptations: pride, lust, and power. His ring could chain demons, but not his soul. Thus, the wisest king became a warning. No mortal, even touched by God, is beyond the reach of folly. Join our history adventure. Like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tales from the past.